My name is Oscar Chacon. I'm the Executive Director at the National Alliance of Latin American and Caribbean Communities, or NALAC. For me, NALAC is not only a job, but a place where I can fulfill, my own personal mission in life. So that's a way of saying that I love my work. In the 1990s, there were changes that many people like myself began to notice in as far as, who made up the foreign-born population in the U.S. For someone like me or someone, like Moises Perez in the New York City area, or someone like Angela Zambrano in Los Angeles, we knew by the end of the 1990s that the number of Latin American, and Caribbean immigrants in the U.S. was growing very rapidly. The year 2000 showed that Latinos, particularly Latin American immigrants and Caribbean immigrants, had grown so much in the U.S. that we had already become, the second largest ethnic cultural group in the U.S. after white population. And yet, what we all realize is that there were no organizations at the national level specifically working to represent, working to advance the interests, the point of views, the particular insights of the Latino immigrant population in the U.S. We believe that the characteristics of the Latin American Caribbean immigrant community are such that it doesn't do us anybody any good to pretend that we are going to ignore, the particular identity of each nationality. As a matter of fact, in some cases, even the particular identity of national groups such as Mexicans, for example, they happen to be much more driven by very local identities. And of course, they have a national identity, but that's a secondary matter. So in the past, most experiments done before tried to get people who are immigrants organized in a sort of national, multi-ethnic approach that usually implied leaving behind whatever specific identity you may have and embracing some sort of Pana-Latino, identity. In the case of NALAC, we don't believe that that is the right approach. That the circumstances today are, again, such that it doesn't really connect, with the average Latin American nationality to pretend that they will give up, their basic identities. What we have done instead is try to identify where do we have common interests, where do we have common goals, that we want to pursue without denying the fact that we are indeed a diverse, bunch. And so NALAC in that respect, is setting a new paradigm in how to understand and how to incorporate together multiple ethnicities, multiple nationalities, multiple regional identities without asking anybody to give up, whatever they are in their inner core. NALAC realizes that the issues that concern Latin American immigrant communities are not solely related to what happens in the United States of America. A lot of the issues that concern Latin American immigrants have actually to do with what happens in our own countries of origin. And in acknowledging this and embracing it, we have also defined, NALAC as a transnational organization, namely that we are not solely concerned, about what happens in the U.S. We understand better than the case has been in the past that for as long as living conditions in countries of origin are conditions that exclude people, that deny people opportunities, that fail to make people feel realized, migration will continue to be an ongoing issue that we will have to deal with.